Hey everyone, I'm very excited today because Dangan GB2 has been released. For those of you that don't know, Dangan GB1 was one of the most impressive homebrew games that I found very early on in my journey to Game Boy homebrew, and this was released to coincide with the Game Boy's 30th anniversary. For a bit of a recap before we get into the new game, here's how the original looked. This one was made specifically for the DMG Game Boy, of course to celebrate its anniversary. As you can see, it was a simple boss rush style game with a set of different bosses separated by a high score screen at the end of each one. It was very impressive for the time with a massive amount of bullets on the screen, but a very simple game. So let's see whether the sequel has improved in any of these aspects. And this sequel has been released to coincide with the Game Boy Color's 25th anniversary. So that means that this game is made specifically for the Game Boy Color. So unlike the first game, it's not compatible with the DMG, but what is here is absolutely incredible. So let's take a look and see what Dangan GB2 is all about. So the game itself is a boss rush shoot 'em up, and it has some really interesting boss fights. There's 6 overall in the game, and I couldn't make it to the 6th one, but I do think it is slightly easier than the first game. You also get 2 different characters to choose from. Each of them have slightly different mechanics, including one with a bomb and one with a shield. Of course, I always chose the shield one because the main character said that her hobby is Famicom. And as you can see from the footage playing over this video, it is so impressive to behold. They've really managed to squeeze every last drop of power out of the Game Boy Color to create one of the most memorable and exciting game experiences on the system. There isn't really much to the game, there's no levels in between the boss fights, which might be nice if they do decide to do a 3rd game in the series. It would be great to see what they could do if it actually had scrolling backgrounds and different enemies. Imagine if they all shot bullets from different angles and flew in and out of the screen, and add to that some extra weapons as well. That would be really cool. But what is here in this boss rush version of the game is just some of the best shoot 'em up action on the entire system. It really is, homebrew or otherwise. And I really hope that a homebrew publisher picks this game up and gives it a full physical release. The original that I've got here was released by Catskull Electronics, who are sadly no longer around as a company, so hopefully someone picks up both the games, and imagine if we got a dual collection of the 2 of them. That would be fantastic, especially if they came with a really nice box and instruction manual to go along with it. So if you're interested in playing the game for yourself, it's actually completely free to play over on itch.io, and apparently there is a story to the game as well, although none of this is told within the game itself. To maintain a sense of security, the Dangan Empire decided to downplay the importance of the Eschus incident. Ali the pilot and Tali the technician were quietly promoted and reassigned to the Ganuka system, deep within Dangan space. Due to their expertise, they were tasked to oversee the Empire's own Dreadnought project. These unmanned war machines are controlled by a supercomputer called the All Construct. The hope is that the Dreadnoughts under its control will turn the tide and finally put an end to the prolonged conflict between the Dangan Empire and the Hudan Confederation. A few months pass. Ali and Tali are out on the edge of the Ganuka system when they receive a message from the Dreadnought base. All Construct, sentient, Hudan influence. All communication is lost after that. Fearing the worst, the 2 decide to immediately return to base. And that is where the game begins. It features 6 boss fights, all with multiple phases, no sprite flicker, no slowdown, and no tearing. Bigger, faster, and more bullets than the previous game, 2 playable characters as I mentioned, and a high score save too. And here's the high score that I managed to get making this video, so let me know down in the comments below whether you managed to beat my score or not. And the game was designed to run on real hardware, but it should work fine on most modern emulators. And it's also recommended that you read the manual before playing the game, which I actually didn't do. So let's have a quick look at the instruction manual now and see what that's like. So here's the free PDF instruction manual which comes with the game over on itch.io, so let's have a quick look through it. We've got the basic story outline that I just read out. We've also got the controls here, so A is fire, B is special, there's how the game screen looks, there's 3 different difficulties. Of course, no one's going to play this game on easy. You don't play hardcore shoot 'em ups like this to play them on easy. So the difference between normal and hard is you get 3 lives, 2 specials per stage, and a continue. And on hard, you only get 3 lives. You don't get any specials or continues. That would just be impossible. I'll be very impressed if anyone's managed to complete this game on hard. And here's the character select screens. You can see they've also chosen some of the hobbies and even the blood type for the characters as well, which is a really neat touch. And as you can see, they have different specials as well. So Ali's special is a screen clearing bomb, and Tally's special is a shield that protects her ship from all damage for 3 seconds. And here, this is something that's really useful, and I kind of wish they showed this on the sprite in the game, and that is the hitbox for the main character. So the hitbox, of course, is very small, and that is one of the reasons why bullet hell shoot-em-ups feel so good to play, because you can weave really close to the enemy bullets and not get hit unless it's dead on the centre of the spaceship. And as you can see here, it's very slightly higher than the centre. And here's something that I didn't know while I was playing the game for the first time. So the closer the player is to a dreadnought, the more points a hit is worth. So for any score attack people out there, that's how you get the most points. And of course, just like the first game, you get scored at the end of each stage based on your accuracy, the time, and whether you missed the target or not, and I guess how close you were when you were hitting the target too. And you'll get an extra life for every 100,000 points. And the game keeps track of 8 high scores. And apparently they get saved even if the power's turned off, which is fantastic. And if you're interested in how the game was made, then here's a look at some of the tools used for the creation of the software, and the credits for the code and the music. In fact, I have to thank David for bringing this game to my attention in the first place, because he actually posted over on my Discord that he'd made the soundtrack for this game, and it was thanks to that that I was even aware that this game existed, so thank you so much. And if you'd like to join my Discord and join loads of super talented developers, programmers, content creators, artists, the lot, then click the link in the description. I would love to see some of you over there. And that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this look at Dangan GB2, an absolutely incredible new homebrew game for the Game Boy Color. Definitely check it out on itch.io. I'll put a link down in the description below. And of course, while you're there, check out the first game as well, because it really does still hold up very well today. If you'd like more Game Boy homebrew goodness, then click the playlist up here and watch that next. Goodbye.